What if I told you all of these were made entirely from something as simple as this, a cardboard box? You probably wouldn't believe me, right? All of these helmets, this costume, this jetpack, this weapon, everything you see here is made entirely from cardboard. So I'm gonna show you how I did it and how you guys can too. You can turn something as simple as an Amazon box, which you get delivered, into one of these cool helmets. And Halloween is right around the corner, so like, why not go ahead and make something like this? It's pretty cool. Let's get into the video. To begin with, this helmet here was originally a Mandalorian helmet. Now, I'd created this Mandalorian helmet from a Boba Fett template, and when I created it, I was like, this doesn't look anything like Mando's helmet, right? So instead of keeping it as a Mandalorian helmet, I converted it into a Boba Fett helmet, and that's where this whole project started. So how I actually created this, there's a template in the link below which you guys can access, and basically follow that along and you'll get this base frame here. Of course, everything you see here is made entirely from cardboard. If you're curious to what materials you're gonna need for this project, of course, cardboard being the most obvious one. How I put everything together is with a hot glue gun. These are pretty cheap. You can get one from like a $2 store, and you just have to get a couple of those refills because you're probably going to go through a bit of glue, and everything you see here has been hand glued with that glue gun. So that's going to be your best friend. For the smoothness, now you're seeing that this helmet is a bit realistic where you don't actually see any of the cardboard pieces. You're thinking, how do I do that? There's a thing called spack filler. It's like a putty material. It's like when you get a hole in your wall, you basically put spack filler over the top of it. That is the sort of stuff we're working with. And what I did is apply this in about 3 to 4 coats all over the helmet once I had got all of that base layer completed. It'd been hot glued, dried, it's in that form. And the spack filler is really great because what it does is create not only a bit of protection around the helmet, but it also allows it to look more realistic than it really is. So once I'd done all that spack fillering, you basically sand it off. You start from high grit and work down to the fine grit sandpaper, just so that you can get a really nice smooth finish. If you're interested to see what products I use, I'm gonna link everything down below to make it 100% easy for you guys to follow along. Now you're probably thinking why I actually don't have much footage of this build. It's because I did this 3 years ago and I had no real sense of my social media, and I didn't post on YouTube, so I didn't really think to even make a video. I did a little bit of recording, and I also have some photos which I'm gonna put in this video to show you guys how I did it. But most of this stuff was done through online templates and also out of my own just intuition. So it's not too hard. It'll just take a while. And this project took, around a month and a half for everything to be completed. The helmet, as you can see, has a rangefinder as well. And how do you even create a rangefinder? If you look on the side here, this piece obviously is separate. So what I did is in the side of the helmet, create a hole, and all I did was just use a drill, and then you get a hole, you span it out with a little Stanley knife so it's bigger, so I can put a little piece of cardboard here that's a circle that you can move. This is actually a straw, believe it or not. Those metal straws that you get, I use that simply just for the rangefinder because it looks cool. But you know, you can use anything. If you've got a straw, like even something wooden, like one of those popsicle sort of sticks, anything will work as long as it's like cylindrical and quite long, because you need it to sort of run above the helmet. And this rangefinder piece I created from cardboard as well. And how I did it, it's basically made up of a lot of different types of squares and rectangles. And I just looked at a lot of reference images for this project. And you guys, to be honest, if you are going to go ahead with this is more of a video of how I did it, but if you are going to go ahead with this, your best friend is going to be looking at reference images online and sort of replicating it. Even print out an image that, like, you can get diagram templates of the 3D print versions, and you can just cut and paste from making cardboard cutouts. But it's not too hard. It just consists of a top rectangle piece here that forms to a bit of a triangle, a rectangle square here, 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 and then forms here. And then underneath here is a little square as well, because they have that little dot that is like when you zoom in and but yeah, it's pretty cool. And then a lot of you are going to be wondering about the visor as well. So this visor is a little dusty, so it might look a bit white. How I did it is those face shields, because I created this during COVID lockdown in 2021. The face shields that you used to get to wear protect your face, they actually are made of like a hard plastic, but they're bendable. So they're really good to put inside of the helmet here. And as you can, you might be able to see, but this piece in here is just done with some sticky tape, masking tape, sorry, and I've hot glued the face shield in there. I've actually used a Sharpie and gone in the inside to create the black look, but you can get window tint, which is what I used for this. And window tint I got, it was like at one of those home department stores where you can get like all the supplies and stuff. It was pretty cheap. They cut me a roll of like 1 meter, and you just put that inside with some glue and it sticks and looks really, that's what I've used in this Mandalorian one here. So that's that. And for the details of this helmet, obviously Boba Fett has that iconic like bullet hole on the side, and how you do that, literally all I did was get a stick and like stab it in the middle and push my finger to create like a dent. And all of this detailing and all of these colors and stuff were done. This is all spray paint. So what I did was get a nice green undercoat for the spray paint and spray the whole helmet green first. Then all these red details were hand painted on afterwards, and these yellow pieces on the side. So you can either freehand it or use masking tape to get all these yellow details. Now, you're probably thinking this is very weathered. You don't even have to do it weathered, which I'm talking about all this silver everywhere. So the weathered version just looks much more clean in terms of the original design, but you can leave it normal without anything. That's more like the Mandalorian style. You know when Boba Fett has all that new armor? So if you want to do the new armor look, go for that. Or you can just add some flick paint all around it. That's basically what I did, was hand painted down here and on here. So that is how I created a Boba Fett helmet. Now, if you are struggling, of course, there are templates below with everything for this. So just go ahead and look at those templates, and all the instructions is on there as well, which is so handy. And of course, I'll link all the products that I used, how I made this as well, different spray paints and all that. So there you go. So this right here is Boba Fett's blaster. How you can make this, it looks so hard, but it's so simple. Basically, it's split into two parts, and if you chop it down the middle here, I basically glued it together. This right here is actually one of those paper rolls, those cardboard rolls. When you have this paper and you're finished with the roll, so that was used for the main bullet, sort of holding in this position. Smaller one for the top here, and this is just a piece, 2 pieces of cardboard, and then running along the top is the same. So what you want to do is print off reference images, and once you have those reference images, I'll put some in the link below. You basically just want to cut to your liking. Basically follow along. There's nothing really more better than looking at the original designs of this blaster and then cutting to how you like it. It's almost a bit of a different shape that you can see. Oops. It sort of curves inwards and then back out. So all these details running along the top here are actually just singular pieces of cardboard. And yeah, they look pretty clean. Little piece of cardboard here as well for the, what do you call that? When you fire and it comes out the top. But yeah, pretty simple build. All I did was look at reference images online and use that. Just take your time with it as well, and it looks really good. And of course, it's just been sprayed black. It's probably the easiest thing you guys will create. So next up, we have the side pieces. Now these side pieces, ooh, got a bit of cardboard on me. So these side pieces sit on the arm like this, and this one's like the blaster torpedo sort of thing he shoots out. How you create this, you want to get a piece of cardboard that you can wrap around your arm here. Now, why? Because you want to have it tight enough so it fits and holds, so that when you're holding it down, stays on your arm. That base plate, which is that circular piece of cardboard, is going to run around your arm, and then you attach this on the side. Looking at the images, basically what I did was strips of cardboard stuck together, and then on the top is an overlapped strips of cardboard. Now you're probably thinking, what are these little things? They are for blasters, and what I used for these was actually, you know those glow sticks, like those ones you break and then you like attach them, a bunch of glow sticks? These are the joiners for those glow sticks, which are those little plastic things. So if you've got anything like that lying around, just stick that on top. Looks so good. The great thing about this is it's a lot of simple shapes. So you've got a lot of squares, triangles, and circular pieces, and it's really, really easy to use. Now, what is this thing? This little piece at the top is actually a glue stick, and this little thing is like from a bottle. You know the bottle lid you unscrew? You squeeze it out. So it's a glue stick with the lid of a bottle on top. That's to create that like blaster look that he shoots out. And that's just sit up with some more pieces of cardboard on the top. Pretty simple build, and you guys can pretty much do it however you like. You don't even have to do these side pieces, but they just add a little more sort of add additional things to the build. The weathered look, of course, I just used some red spray paint for the base layer and then use that silver again, which is completely optional, just to go around the edges, and it looks really clean. So the next piece I've just taken off, and it's the same similar design as the other one, but this one sits on the other arm, like down here, and it's another like sort of blaster thing, very simple, and it's got this piece which attaches into the arm sort of up here. But again, those little pieces are from the glow stick. This is just like a singular piece of cardboard that runs around your wrist, which you'll need to just like try just to see how big your arm and wrist is, and that way you can fit it nicely and inside. Another square piece of cardboard here. So this is almost just like a box stuck right on top. And you can see I've just made up all these nice little details on the side. And this here is like a little ball that I found. See, the good thing is if you've got stuff lying around the house, you can actually make this look pretty cool. You don't even have to follow the original images, but I've just gone along and just created a really cool design, which I thought looked quite nice. Okay, so now onto the actual breastplate and all of the pieces. This is actually an old t-shirt that I went and found at a thrift store for like $5. I'd recommend getting something you just that fits you, but also something you're comfortable getting dirty, because obviously you're going to stick cardboard onto it. So how I went about doing this is getting reference images online, and I printed them out at max scale so that I could cut these out basically 1:1 scale without having any issues. It's pretty simple. You don't really have to add much to them because these pieces are just like cardboard, with obviously spray paint and some weathering. You can see here, this is the top plate here, and this little centerpiece created here. It's got that iconic white rectangle in the front there, and here as well we've got the two breastplates, and you've got the iconic insignia on Boba Fett's logo. This is just weathering with some gray paint, that same gray paint once again, and I've used yellow as well, because if you look at his breastplate and all of the pieces he wears, they're all like got this yellow tint to them, which is kind of cool. So that's something I went ahead and did. Now you're probably thinking about this light. How did I actually do the light? So underneath here is a little box, and inside the box is a little LED. And these are just a piece of plastic, and there's a remote in the pocket here that I can just turn on and off. You don't even have to do this, because this was a little more added to the project. So this added maybe another like couple weeks, because I had to configure the breastplate to actually fit, and so it wasn't too bulky. If you don't want to go ahead and do that, what I'd recommend is either you can get some really bright red paint, or maybe you have some rhinestones, something that's shiny, and you could just put them there. There's two lines, and that will do just as good. So these side pieces as well, one thing I must say, you have to sort of bend them and control the cardboard to fit, because cardboard's obviously flat normally. So how I did this was just bending the cardboard, and it looks quite nice and clean. These just fit really, really well. And then obviously on this side, there is that Mandalorian logo. Now the belt piece, I added last minute, believe it or not, which I noticed. The belt piece has these little boxes, And these here are actually glue sticks, believe it or not, tiny glue sticks, which I've stuck down. Now, moving on to the jetpack. This was actually one of the things I did film, so you'll be probably a little surprised, but you'll probably be a little bit happy that I did film something to show you how I made it. So yeah, this jetpack was created with nothing but reference images. So the templates, I'm sure there is templates, but if there is, I'll put them in the link below. So the jetpack, again, was created with cardboard, and it looks pretty good in my opinion. I think this did all right. So I used quite a lot of pieces for this. The first piece was this just bigger, thicker piece of cardboard, and I measured this out with the reference images, cut it to fit along the back plate. So the back plate, again, is this giant piece of cardboard that runs along the back of Boba Fett, and it has Velcro on it as well. So the Velcro allows for you to attach the jetpack. That's how I made it work. So I can take the jetpack off. So I'll show you the jetpack here. Whilst it's here, there you go, the Velcro is on the back there as well. So yeah, this piece here is the back plate I'm talking about. It's the most simplest piece, but you want to have it that it's a thick piece of cardboard so that it's really sturdy. Now, how I built this whole thing up, because it all is built up from one piece of cardboard. If you look on the side, it just has the pieces running up here and here, and this allowed for these cylindrical pieces to take shape. So again, just rectangles, a lot of shapes are being used in this. And of course, if I look at it this way, these cylindrical pieces are created with water bottles, believe it or not. There is a water bottle inside of here and here. So again, going off randomness and working out new ways to make it easy for myself. But yeah, created with water bottles, cardboarded around them. This just allows for so much more simple processing when you're doing this, because of course cardboard's not meant to be circular in a way. It's quite rigid in its shape, so to actually make something look like that's hard. And this giant piece here is a giant roll of cardboard, like pre-roll. You know how you have, as I showed you before, the paper towel, the thing inside, this is just a bigger version of that. So that's stuck down the middle straight away. And all these things, again, these are my best friend pretty much. Like, I've used these so much. They are the connectors for those glow sticks. These are actual screws, and I didn't drill into them. I just sort of made an indent and shoved these screws in so they probably can come out. And if you've got screws lying around, they add like such a realistic touch to the jetpack. Awesome, I'm blown away by how good it turned out. And these are just some lids for milk bottles on the top here. These two things I found in a, it was like a kit, like a DIY kit for some metal engine thing, which I never used. So I took two pieces that looked like the same as Boba Fett has on his jetpack and put them on there, and of course already pre-painted them silver. Now, all this silver you see here is all been weathered by hand. So I did a base coat of green and then weathered everything by hand with silver. Of course, you don't have to weather anything because that just adds more of a realistic look. But if you want to leave it clean and simple, yeah, go for it. And this missile here was created with a circular piece of cardboard. And this I did create with a bunch of triangles. So you can see sort of where the weathering has actually created the triangles. It's just triangles against each other and another little milk bottle cap on top. Now these side pieces, a little more complex. This is a little tennis ball, and these are created with the same triangles as I did the top. So the tennis ball allows for shape, because to make a ball out of cardboard is like, what, I don't even know how possible it is to create a real ball, because that would be quite hard. But yeah, I used some tennis balls there, and it's got a little bit of cardboard over it just to give it a little more structure. And here, these are just caps for water bottles with a red dot. And you can, if I turn it this way as well, you can see the bottom. I've put another little piece of cardboard down the bottom. So guys, this project took me around a month and a half. And honestly, it was one of the coolest things I ever did. And I hope it inspires you to give sort of DIY projects a go, because in the end of the day, if you have something like a skill where you can use, or something you can take time out of your life to do, and it's enjoyment, then you know what? Go for it. I hope you enjoyed this video on how I created a Boba Fett costume out of cardboard. If you guys are inspired to do the same, check out the templates and all of the materials I used in the links below. And yeah, if you guys want to see these videos as well and how I made these helmets, comment down below. Maybe consider hitting that subscribe button if you guys enjoyed this video and want to see some more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.